So for Crusader Kings III cheats, in order to use the console commands, you'll have to open up the app, and then once it pops up, you're going to click Game Settings, and you'll scroll down to where it says Open Game in Debug Mode, and you'll click Launch. So we'll start a new game so that I can show you from a fresh start these specific cheats. They're pretty much the most useful. But we're picking Matilda because there is a university that can be built that one of her vassals owns. So when it starts out, they want you to marry this guy. So we're going to go find that university real quick. You go down here, you click the plus sign, and then economy and buildings. That'll show you there's an unbuilt university right here. And we'll go back to Realms View, click it, and this guy owns it, but just for the sake of example, I'm going to take his brown because we need it. Okay, now we have it, and it's going to be down here on the right. So we can't construct it yet because we need gold, we need a level of fame, and we need development level, and we can use all cheats to get all that stuff. And level of fame is going to come from your prestige, so we'll type add. Actually, how you get to this is you hit your tilde key, which is right underneath the escape key on your keyboard. That brings that up. And we're going to go add prestige, and let's give it, say, 2 million, just to be thorough. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and get some, and you can hit your left arrow keys to move around on here. We're going to go dynasty underscore prestige. Give us, oh, it doesn't know what I'm talking about. Dianast. There we go. And my level of splendor is increased. And then we're going to go gold. Let's do let's do 2 million. Just to be thorough. So there's 3 cheats so far. You've got add prestige, dynasty prestige, and then gold. You'll type in your number after you hit a space bar. And we still need one more thing. We need to change the development level in the county of Bologna or Bologna. So we're going to hit that tilde key again and type in change underscore development underscore level. We're going to type in 30. And the ID, if you look, we'll see when we're hovering, there's an ID. If you look down a little bit, it'll say ID 2542 Bologna. So we'll type in that 2542, enter, and now that gives us the option to construct the university. And then one more thing for this, to do it quickly, is you go over here underneath the console commands, and it's there's a little building right here. It says build buildings instantly. So you click that, exit out your tilde again, and then hit construct. And you can change the settings down here on how fast everything is. You don't want to have it all the way up because you might have other stuff you want to do before something else happens in the middle of what you're trying to do. So we're just going to put it on 1, hit the space bar, and it should build right now. Now that we have this university, our wards and children can all be placed in university in order to get better traits as they skill up. The next thing I'll go over right here, let's set her on what her focus is real quick. She's got zealous, calm, and diligent, but we want a different set of traits here. And if you only have one, the computer or the game is going to add some later, but we don't want that to happen. So if you put 3 or 4 in here, it won't add more of these. And you got 2 different remove trait commands. You got remove trait calm. It takes 1 off, but we want the other 2. And we might as well just clear off the whole thing and start fresh. So the other cheat is going to be clear underscore traits. And we don't have to type in ID for our character, but if there was a different character besides your player character, you're just going to type the ID right there and then hit enter. And you can see, even when you have this open, you can hold your cursor over the character that you're using the cheats for, and you see if you look down at the middle there, it says ID 20746. That's her ID, but we don't have to use it since we're playing as her, as Matilda. So we're just going to backspace and where it just says clear traits and hit enter. That should clear off everything. We got a fresh start now. And then there's an order in which you can do these cheats that makes it a little more simpler for you if you're typing all these in. So we're going to go, and these are the best ones in my opinion. Add underscore trait. You're going to use chaste. We're going to go temperate and humble. They seem to be the best that don't affect negative modifiers so much. Like chaste, this one particularly though, it keeps your character from what's the best way to say this, from floundering around with other characters if you don't want them to. Like if you're playing this female character and you don't want her making babies with other characters that you don't want in your royal bloodline, so-called, or noble bloodline. And then these here, like there's some other traits you can throw in there that are kind of useful, but they'll take your intrigue away. And if you have less intrigue, then the success chance of another character using intrigue against you increases. And so we don't want to do that. But these are pretty good at keeping the computer from adding another trait in here you wouldn't want, like lustful or wrathful, unless you want to use those traits. Some people have uses for those for what their plans are to do. But then you also have, and you can hit the up arrow key on your command prompt here, and it'll bring up what you've used before. So you hit the up arrow key, and you can hit down or carry, and it goes back to nothing. But then you're gonna backspace, and we're gonna type in the first one we want is fecund. And that gives you fertility for 50%, extra life expectancy, extra years of fertility. And the trait is congenital, which means it can be passed down to the character that is of their bloodline, that they came from them, their daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, grandson, so on and so forth. And then we have some other traits that are preferable, like strong. And it gives a health medium boost. The health boosts are good for when diseases come along and you don't have a character that's immortal. You didn't generate an immortal character because maybe you wanted to see playing as your future heir, something like that. And then also I believe a health boost comes from lifestyle underscore physician or blade master. Let's check it though. Yeah, so disease resistance, small boost from Novus Physician. And there's also some codes you can get in to fill that up. That bar down at the bottom of that says physician 1 and then 2. Those are longer codes. You can get those codes from ck3.paradoxwikis.com, and I'll put that link in the description as well. But then we're going to go Blade Master. I think that gives another health boost. Yeah, another small health boost. And the next one you're going to use is, and this is where it matters to do these in order. I'll show you here in a second. Education, stewardship underscore 5. So that's education underscore stewardship underscore 5. You'll hit that, and you'll arrow key over to the end of the word stewardship, and you'll backspace it. And you'll type in learning, hit enter, hit up arrow key again, left arrow key to end of learning, go to diplomacy, arrow key again to diplomacy, then you're going to type in martial, enter, and then what we want to do is backspace on that 5, leave it there, type in prowess underscore 4 because that's as high as that one goes, and then up arrow key again. We're going to drop back to prowess, and we're going to backspace martial prowess, and we're going to type in Republican underscore knowledge, and leave that 4 there. Hit enter, because those are the two that both go up to 4, is the martial prowess 4 and Republican knowledge 4. And then we're going to backspace all that, type in administrative court underscore, so that's administrative underscore court, and then 2. That's as high as that one goes. And then you can use, and for training your wards, if you add a ward to this character, it's helpful to have administrative court and scholarly court, because sometimes those wards will get those traits and you don't have to type them in for your wards. The object is to not have to manage your wards that are trained up after they're raised up to, when they become of age. You don't have to manage them too much, too often, hopefully. I see a lot of times you'll get sadistic, wrathful, and lustful. You'll have to take off, maybe sometimes, which is unfortunate to have to do that, but it's your choice. And if you have a whole lot of heirs, a whole lot of wards, children you raised up in order to manage your kingdom, it can get pretty busy. And so the object is to have children that are being trained as they're raised up. You can also have warlike court if you want. And then for diplomacy, you're going to type in diplomatic. Diplomatic. And then after you get all that done, we also have, let's see, we've got to make sure, because you're also going to want some congenital traits. Intellect underscore good 3, that's the highest that one goes. And then physique, that gives you, keeps them from dying as well. Okay, and then after all those are done, you type in gain all perks. That's gain underscore all underscore perks. Gives you everything all at once. So she's got a whole lot of stuff now that are positive modifiers. You got, and then 48 diplomacy, 37 martial, 59 stewardship, 27 intrigue, 51 learning. So now she needs a husband to make some kids with in order to send to university. So we'll find her a spouse. Should be preferable. Let's pick this Serbian guy here. What do you think? Yeah. Children will be born into House Canosa. That's her house, right? Yeah. Gonna send proposal. Unpause the game. Let the marriage happen. Unfortunately, it does make her an ally of him, and she might be summoned to war. And then the next thing here is you want to set your culture before the next following cheats. Okay, I need to pause this again. Exit out of this. You get interrupted by the game when you're not paused. So we're going to use the innovation sheet after this. So we're going to go set culture. And we're going to make a different culture that nobody else has right now. And we're going to be Roman. That's one I found that nobody has. So I'll make her Roman. And then another thing, we're going to go to the, I'm over on the website right now for ck3paradoxwikis.com, and I'm going to copy over a command that converts every county that she has and domain. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to open up the tilde key again. I'm going to hit Control V to paste that in there. And I will leave this in the description as well. So its effect equals those strange arrow keys, I forget what you call them, and all this here, but I'll put that into the description. So that changes all these places into the Roman culture. For the sake of, see, we're Roman right now, but has no culture head. So if we start the game, start playing the game, we're going to unpause and wait a second. Maybe hit fast forward. There. Now she's the culture head of the Roman culture. And she has a liege to the Holy Roman Empire. But now she's Roman, and all her counties are Roman. And we're going to do a couple other things. Some of these cheats, you can right-click your character and go down to where it's like sometimes 15, 16, or 17 more. It'll say right there. Click that. We'll go take action at every county, completely control. We want to do this first. Do it again. Go back to the same exact one. Take action. Popularity high, so we have no problems. Do it one more time. Convert faith. It just makes everything easy. Every time you take over like a big chunk of land, I would suggest doing that. Cool. So now she's the culture head. And you have all these places that are Roman and Catholicism, right? So now what we're going to do is we have all these innovations that are undiscovered right now. But we'll just do the quickest cheat to get all of them is discover all eras. That's discover underscore all underscore eras. You hit enter. You got everything. The whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle. Even the ones you couldn't have gotten otherwise. Which allows you to recruit different kinds of men-at-arms that you otherwise wouldn't have had. And out of all of the siege equipment, the bombard is the best. Did it not make it? Yeah, there we go. And you want to click that. Increase the size. And then all these are unstationed. And if you station them in a place where you have buildings that are relevant to what kind of unit it is, it really helps. Like that 0.06 per day won't matter much, but it does help. So let's find a place that has a duchy building, like this right here. Construct new duchy building. And we'll want to build a building that's relevant to what time of unit you're going to station there. And when you add all the buildings you can to help that unit, it does make a massive difference. So we're going to go siege works because we're going to add our bombard here to make it take a lot less time when we're in a siege. Let's see it. Since we unlocked the quick building, right there, quick building, it made it build almost instantly. So we're still in play right now. Try to downsize this real quick so I can see what I'm doing. All right. The buildings in Florence. And since we've discover all eras, we've also are able to build every building that's available to us. Okay, we'll want to upgrade our castle all the way up to 4. Finish using that siege works. And then we're going to look for relative stuff. Like this manor house supply limit is good. We might have to come back and replace that. And then, so station men-at-arms, that actually helps. You're going to get that 15% for your siege equipment. Unfortunately, you're going to have levies. Why I say unfortunate for having levies is up here, whenever you've built a whole lot of buildings, you'll have, well, gobs of levies. And after you've got all of your units leveled up, you almost don't need those levies. So whenever you start a battle, you hit raise all, you're going to have between 30 and 70,000 levies, and it'll gob up your RAM a little bit. I mean, it doesn't affect me too much, but just to notice that just kind of disturbs me. And so I'll only raise my men-at-arms, and that's these guys here instead of these. And when they're OP, you have all your buildings, they're all stationed, all in duchy building settlements. They're pretty strong. You don't need all your levies. You shouldn't. Sometimes you will. But all these relevant buildings. Let's see if we can find anything. There's probably not anything for siege, not anything else for siege, just that duchy building. But you can still use, like this one, station men-at-arms damage. We'll take that one. If there's anything else. The supply limit, that helps. But then we're going to go station men-at-arms siege progress and siege weapon effectiveness. So there is another building. So we got workshops. And you can add this for to help your supply limit, but that adds to your levies too. So sometimes I try to see if I can avoid that. We have the manor houses helps, so we'll keep that one. But what I really want, in every place that I go to build, if I have enough building slots, and there's a cheat to add building slots too, is the hospices, because that increases your plague resistance. And usually when you see plagues developing around an area, if you put up some hospices, it stops the flow of that plague in that area a little bit. It does help somewhat. If you don't, sometimes you can see continuous notifications of diseases and stuff, which you have to stop and deal with that. So we'll upgrade all these real quick. It takes a second. Only a second as compared to if you didn't use the cheats or console commands. Some people don't want to call them cheats. I'll call them cheats. I'll be honest. But when I first started playing this game, I didn't know how important it was for these buildings. I thought I'm just going to build some buildings that have money, And then one day I was messing around with these cheats and found out when I could get all the buildings, which ones I should get, and I would have access to every single thing available to me. I found that these can make your men-at-arms really strong. Almost done. Okay, that's all those. So we're hitting spacebar, hit pause, and then we go look at. It says 1.1 a day. That's our siege progress right now. So we're looking at Florence as our capital, and that's where we place that duchy building. And I like to get a lot of duchy buildings. It does give you a lot of duchies. It says, you know, too many duchies up here sometimes. But I like to have one for every single unit. So we're going to place this one, change station holding, and we're going to put it as, see, this is 1.86. It's you see how much more that is than a 0.06? So station them there, and then take a look at the time it takes now, 1.86, as compared to if you had one without the station holding. Not stationary holding, it says 1.1 a day. That's all we get out of that one without it being stationed. The difference is huge, 1.86. Okay, so now we're married to this guy, and we're gonna make children. So we're gonna start pregnancy. I don't know if that's gonna make him pregnant or. And that's another cheat too. This isn't available without using the debug mode. So we're gonna start pregnancy, and then trio, please. I wonder if that makes him pregnant. Hit your tilde key, and you're gonna go over if you want to do instant births. So he's pregnant with 3 babies, I guess. I'm doing this a little backwards. Okay, now she's pregnant. Okay, there it goes. So they got 3 kids now. So we can take each one. And I like to use education focus for stewardship for everybody. Because that seems to be what the problem is with the... Unless you have specific things, like do you want this kid to grow up and be a knight specifically, you're going to use Marshall. If you want him to do things like, you know, subtle stuff, cloak and dagger stuff, you're going to put him as intrigue. If you want him to be diplomatic in order to build your relations and stuff like that with other kingdoms and vassals and such, you're going to go diplomatic. And then learning, that helps if you want to have that ward to grow up and be somebody that teaches other wards and trains them up. But you can still get away with having all of your teachers having stewardship education. So we're going to set his focus as stewardship. That way it focuses on trying to get that stewardship up as high as we can get it. We're going to educate child, go down and click send to university. And since he's going to be her first ward, and she's got all these skills, so he's going to inherit some of that, a little bit. And each character can have 2 wards. So we're going to go to the other son as well. Set his focus as stewardship. And educate child. Send to university. Boom. Bada bing. Bada bing, bada boom. And then there's bonuses for having all of your innovations. And there's also bonuses. Since she is the culture head of the Roman culture, she won't have to share, our kingdom won't have to share these innovations with your other potential enemies. But then there's another thing too, in legacies. Remember when we used Dynasty Prestige? Underscore prestige. And then whatever number you wanted. That, you can use those points to unlock everything here. And instead of using the cheat to get everything unlocked, because you don't know what it's going to pick on, there's a specific one here. architected ancestry. So I don't know. I don't remember which one it picks. But on here, if you enter the code to get everything all at once, the game is going to, that code's going to pick one of these for you. But I like to manually enter them all in so that I can pick hell. So everyone of the bloodline will get a health boost to give them some disease resistance. The rest of these you just click and unlock. It takes a little more time, but it's worth it if you want to specifically have a certain trait in your family line. Because those other ones, like you might get albino or scaly flesh, scaly skin, stuff like that, that are you don't want as much if you're trying to stay in the positive modifiers. These will give you more stuff for your men-at-arms. I think you get another regiment. Let's see if there was one. I just want all this stuff, you know. Yeah, max number of men-at-arms regiments 1. So now we can make more. And I like to have 3 bombard units and the rest a hodgepodge mix of everything. So we'll add that other bombard. Create. So it's going to be, it's not much either. It's 170 cannons. And it says 10 of 170 because they haven't built up yet. So if you unpause the game, you can watch them grow. Why's this guy going around insulting everybody? Okay. Nope. So her husband's complaining about another man. Bothering him. We had to get all those dynasty, those notifications off there after you do the legacies. There was a cheat that I didn't use. It was add trait, beauty, good, 3. I don't use that very often because it actually changes their character portrait different to a little bit different than what you had seen when you started with your character portrait of each character. Sometimes they might need that. Other times they really don't. If you're trying to see what the children look like after having to make a baby, an heir for your kingdom. But these guys, I mean, they look like they might make a cute kid. Who knows? And then you can see them. She doesn't have. She's not in a university yet. We'll put her in one. It looks like the knight's going to train her. I guess it randomly selects the next person. Like you can have your spouse train them. When you manually click on them, click educate child. And there's your daughter right there. So we will send her to university. Oh, hold on. One other thing. Sometimes your children will be born of your spouse's culture. So you might want to change that because it doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. So we go set culture, Roman, and then type in his ID code 19121. Enter. That'll make for sure that whatever baby they have, and then oh, we need to change his faith as well. So we'll demand conversion. And you'll get this pop up too after you've built a university, and these people offering their services. And you take them if you can, so that they can help. If you have a whole lot of wards, which you're going to, if you make a lot of heirs, and then also have other people have heirs that are your vassals' heirs, things like that, you'll want to put them in your court and train them up because they're going next. So we're going to welcome him to the fold, and he's Roman. So if you have him marry somebody, and then they have heirs, you're going to have a bunch more little Romans running around. But if you want to see what they look like, or if you needed to age them up, you can go tilde. You type in age, and then say we want to make her 16, so she becomes of age, so that she can be used as a vassal. And we're going to type in her ID code. You can see it there, right about in the middle, right underneath it, where it's in the purple says debug. If I move this, I can't. Actually, here we go. ID debug. And that's her ID right there. You'll type in. So we'll type 167808899. Enter. So that's what your daughter looks like after 16 years in the game. But she doesn't, and none of the traits are built up because she didn't come up. So you can add them if you want to, a whole lot of traits, and then use her as you will. And then have her married somebody else that you modified their traits and stuff. And this is a congenital trait right here that she got from her parents. And that's from physique good 3, physique underscore good underscore 3. But if they didn't inherit them, you still want them to have them, you can still put the code in for them. And I'll show you real quick. So look at her face right now. This may or might not change it. A lot of times it does change it. We'll use the beauty code. Let's see if it changes her face. Beauty underscore good 3. Yeah, see, it changed the shape of her face, and it added makeup. If you like the way they look after you do that, then there you go. But I don't think she needed anything done to her. And if you want to take her hat off, you can click that little scissor piece. Take her hat off so you can see what her hair looks like. There we go. That's her hair. She's inherited her parents, both of her parents' genes, and got some brownish red hair. And then you can also, of course, these aren't cheats. I'm pretty sure you can do this. We'll give her a royal cloak since she's a princess. Maybe a circlet. And she is not low nobility. She is a princess of who is going to be the queen. So we're going to give her, I guess, maybe some Byzantine high nobility clothing. There we go. That matches her cloak. Bada bing, bada boom. There's your princess. And then there's also, okay, so there's a cheat on here where you just right click and you go down and you spawn courtier, right? And you pick diplomacy marshal. Whichever you pick is going to be higher than their other stats that they have over here under diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, and learning. And a lot of times I'll do stewardship. That'll bring somebody up. Okay, so we got one, which is useful. She's got 21 stewardship, right? Except the problem is she's lowborn. She's not noble. So you'll want to marry her to somebody that is noble so that they have children of noble stock. That's if you're playing the game where your vassals, they look down upon and they don't like you if you have lowborn, la la la. And there's another sheet here. You can change the character's weight too. You can go up or down on the character weight. Like you can add more. And I think it maxes out though. Yeah, because she's not changing size, so I'll show you with this one. Remove character weight, and she starts to go down right there. And it stays like that the rest of the game, most of the time, unless they have a gluttonous trait. That's about as far down as it goes before you start seeing their bones. We'll change it again so you can see the bones. They start looking very sickly when their bones are showing. See how sickly she looks now? And we'll bring that back up to where she looks healthy. So now we have a courtier that we can train. We can change the traits on here. So we'll go clear traits. Oh, I did it to my own traits. My bad. Anyways, let's go back to her. Yeah, if you forget to type in your ID code, it's gonna do it to your character. But we'll fix hers real quick. 16778849. Clear traits. Boom. Everything's gone off here. Now we can make these what we want them to be. Let's start with their age. So we'll hit up arrow key, bring that ID back so we don't have to keep looking and typing it back in. We're going to go age, and we're going to take off enough years that she's 16, where she's just of age so that she can be married off. 17 and 4 is like, what, 21? So 21. Bam. See, now she's 16. She's marriable. Back in those days they were. And I think it was actually 15. I have a relative that actually, back in the day, they married at the age of 15. And it was legal, I guess. They had a lot of kids together, and yeah, they had a happy marriage. Long, happy marriage. And then one of them passed away from, well, we won't get into that. But her base trait here is 21 on stewardship, so, but we want to add some more. That is very usable. We want to add some more, so we're going to go up arrow key, left arrow, all the way to 21. We're going to backspace that out, hit add, underscore trait, chaste. I'm going to go over one more time for being thorough, temperate. Humble. We'll just add some quick ones in here. Intellect. So she's smart and her children will be smart. Sometimes. And then physique. Physique, okay, so chaste has a negative modifier for fertility, but if you add back physique, it fixes that. So we'll take a look again. Yeah, oh, her fertility is still 30%. So let's add a couple other things. Fecund and strong. Let's add beauty as well. So we'll arrow up until we have that good 3. We'll arrow over to physique, take that off, and add beauty. See if that changes. Okay, now. So with fecund, strong, and beauty good 3, that brought that fertility up to 100%. And then you'll notice when you hold your cursor over somebody, it disappears when you move off of them. But if you wait a second, there's a little circle that loads right here. It looks like it's loading. And when that finishes, you can bring your cursor over onto the panel to look at stuff. But here's the fertility, 100%. Health is 6.3. So now she's young and healthy and can be married to one of your vassals. Now, I spent a lot of time figuring this out. But I was trying to get more vassals that were of a noble house. And so I went to my council and I hired somebody. And then I clicked train commanders. And then every other month or so, I was getting a vassal that was Roman and was of a noble house. And this is your sign that you have a noble house right here. Okay. But then one time later, I noticed there was a way around this to get them quicker. So you'll take a place that you have. You can give the title momentarily. Bear with me. They don't have to keep it. So when you click this up here, it gives you somebody that is agreeable with your culture, agreeable with your faith. And so we want Romans with the faith Catholicism, so it meshes well. I'm not saying I'm citing for Romans or Catholicism like that. I just like this era, and then the Roman Catholic, all that stuff. It's interesting stuff, but you know, all politics aside. So you click this here, and it gives you somebody. Now she's like 80 years old. We can still change that and see what she looks like, but she's of a noble house. So let's see what she looks like when she was a fair young maiden. So add, no, I'm sorry, age, and it's 80. So let's take off 64 years. Don't forget her ID. 6778413. Bam. Not bad. So she doesn't, she doesn't look so bad when she was younger. So we can take her and marry her off. And what you can do is if you marry off to somebody that doesn't have a house, let's find somebody that doesn't have a house. This guy, Folco. Take him. Click her. It says children of this marriage will not be born into a house. So you go down and click matrilineal marriage. And that makes his children and her children born into her house as nobles. And then here it says will not accept. But you can click your tilt key and go over here where you got these little soldiers and a check mark. You click enable or disable yes men. You click that. Click send proposal. They have to accept it now whenever you hit play. See, now they're married. They're going to have kids, and you'll have heirs in your kingdom you can raise up to be even better than they are, right? But you might want to turn that yes men back off because this will give you false notifications up here. It says neighbors can be vassalized, and you'll go click on them, and it'll say we'll accept. You can click that if you want to, but they really wouldn't have had that code not been used. And the way I play is if they would have accepted, I'll do it that way. Otherwise, you're going to go around and soak up all the vassals and win the game really fast, and it won't be as fun unless you want to do that. You want to conquer the whole world real quick, that's one way to do it. So we'll go turn that yes man off, and then he gives you the real answer. Will not accept by negative 556 with all these reasons. Okay, yeah. So we would rather take over his lands than fraudulently have him be our friend. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's get real here. But it's completely random of what kind of vassal you're going to get. So she's with him. And here's the next thing, though. So you've got them. What you do is you quick imprison. I'll show you that again. So you right click, and this one's always available on everybody. Quick imprison. You click that, put them in prison to hold on to them. And then you're going to take their realm, right? She's in prison now. But that's so you can hold on to her, because some of them you let go, they disappear. What you want to do is go right click, go down to negotiate release, and recruit. We want her to be in our retinue of available vassals, right? And courtiers. And I had to fast forward that so it would do it. So now it says, I have no choice but to accept your conditions for my release. So yeah, you want to be my courtier or you want to be in prison? Take a pick. She picked being my courtier. That's going to be every time. Unless they're really vastly different. And then you're going to turn that yes man on back again. So now I have somebody with a house. It's a noble house. Doing that, right? And we can just keep doing it again. And get the same culture, same faith, right? Put him in prison. Take his realm. You can stack up a bunch of them if you want to, so you can go through all at once, right? So we'll do another one. We got this guy here with the Grofer beard. Yep, I guess we'll have to pick her for our physician. So we'll have to marry her to somebody too and have some heirs from her. Let's go to him. We're going to put him in prison. See, we can change his age too. If he doesn't look desirable to you, we can change his age. So we're going to go, we need to take off enough years to get to 16, so that's 23 and 4 is 27. Don't forget to type in your negative. 27, don't forget your ID. So a lot of the stuff you accidentally do to your character, you can still undo it. You can go back and then reverse it with the console commands. 16786 Oh, 26. I had my math wrong. So let's take off 10 more years. And that's him when he was younger, right? Oh, he's younger now. And so he's got a fresh start. You got a lot of time with him as your vassal. But we're going to imprison him for a moment. And that is going to show up on his memories. So we're going to take realm. It says, I was imprisoned by Duchess Matilda of Tuscany. First, he was granted the county of Modena, and then he was in prison. We're going to let him go, though. We're going to negotiate a release and recruit him. Speed up the time a little bit. So he's out now, and he is our courtier at the moment. If they have a high enough prowess, they're going to be our knight. But it seems the game didn't add him to our retinue of knights yet. But if you add, some of the commands to give him high knighthood, he'll be your knight. But now we have somebody that's of a noble house. He's of noble stock, which is good. And a lot of these, they would be the first of their household. They'll be the house head. You see, you click that tree. After they start having kids, it'll branch off down in trees. It'll show you all their children, their children's children. And we'll just keep doing that until we have quite a few. I ain't gonna make you watch all of it. We'll lock her up in prison. We'll get the next one. Take round. That's empty again. Hit that button again. Another random person with the house. See, you don't look too bad. So we'll take that guy. Take his round. We'll put him back in stuff later, but we're just make sure we're getting a lot of house people. House nobles. Have them marry each other and build up their traits, stuff like that. And so we can click our courtiers and take a look. So now we've got quite a few Roman, right? At the start of the game, you get some of your courtiers that are of other cultures. These are Italian. You can change them too if you want to. You can go set their culture, make them Roman. But the house history won't reflect that the noble house was Roman. So you'll have to go through and change every single one of them if you want that to be so. The set underscore culture, and then Roman, and then their ID code on every single one of them. I'm not going to do that to 12 living members of this house, and therefore I don't want a house that is not completely Roman, didn't start that way, didn't have the computer-generated traits that it gives them, so on and so forth. I like to go through and boot everybody out after I made sure that they don't have their claims or anything like that. So I'll go run them off so I don't have to manage them. If they don't have, does he have a claim? No, he doesn't have a claim. We're going to dismiss him. But yeah, I'll go through and I'll boot everybody out so they don't start marrying or seducing your other vassals and courtiers. They're not around to do that or bother them. Okay. Yeah, the kid don't look too bad, but you know, we want our culture to be here. I know that her husband is Serbian, but I was just showing an example, but of how I like to make sure that the cultures, you know what I'm saying. So these are all of our prisoners that are Roman. And here's the reason why you want the culture to be your same culture, and in the cities too, is down here, like culture and faith. If they match up with, like, the county, some of the problems that you would otherwise have won't happen so much or so bad. Like if you have a vassal that's not of that culture, you get negative modifiers. If you have a vassal that is not of the same faith, you get negative modifiers on that county. So that's why this culture is Roman and exclusively Roman. We brought back we're bringing back the Roman Empire. We're bringing it back. Okay, and then there was a recent update that changed this, and I was like, man, what's going on? I can't change my authority. But it's down here. They added some tabs, so that's pretty new. So now we're all the way at the top of the High Crown Authority, which gives you more options on other things. So now what you would want to do for each one of these, if you wanted the most amount of upgrades possible for each one of these, you would want to have a duchy so that you can have a duchy building, a county in that duchy that belongs to that duchy, and the duchy title. And then you have counts, and counts are underneath duchies. Counts just have, counties. Duchies have an area which controls counties. Like in this button here, will show you duchy titles. Like it says Ancona, and you can see how part of my realm is in that duchy and part of it is not. And it would be good to own every single county in this duchy and the duchy itself. And you can click on that, you'll see this one's not created yet. And it says create title. I can't do it because I only have one of 2 required counties. So if I get the other county by war, you can cheat to do that too if you want. So go look, inside my realm is 1, and then we have Grand City of Ancona. But I don't like to do this because it takes all the fun out of the game. But you can take all their realms, or you take their titles, and if you click, what does it give you the option here? Oh, here it goes. Take title. You click title selection, and they're going to have more than one. You pick the one that you want. So we'll take that title. We'll look again. Okay, what else is left? Duchy of Ancona, Grand City of Urbino. This guy. And he's not even a noble house. He don't deserve that anyway. So let's cheat and take his stuff, right? And this ain't as fun. I like to make war and get everything. So we got take title, bam. Now that gives us the ability to create the title and have it. And then we're going to figure out which building. Which county gives you the duchy building, and that's this one here, Ancona of Ancona Duchy. See, there's Ancona, and you go over here to click Duchy of Ancona. Right, and it says your title, so we know we have it, right, because we created the title. So now we're going to add our next bombard to this duchy. And start all over. Go down here to specifically helps. This building is the siege works, and it specifically helps your bombards. Uh-oh. So here's another problem. Whenever you take that stuff, uh, you can't build all the buildings in that realm because you're not of that culture. So what we want to do is copy over that culture cheat real quick, and don't forget, I will post that into the description. Let's grab the culture cheat for all the everything inside your realm, right? Hit tilde, control V, enter. There we go. Now it's Roman. And then some stuff like control, you can fix that. Just take action every count. You're going to do 3 of these. This one, and this one. And convert faith. So we don't have any problems with the locals. They have no idea that they were Orthodox one day, and then they woke up the next day and they were just happened to be Catholic, and they don't even know how it happened. Anyway, so we'll go through and change all these to give all those positive modifiers for our station regiment of bombards, which is siege weapons, and we'll start wiping people out and taking over stuff in wars later on with that, and it's a big, big help. But if you have duchy buildings for every single one of your units, that's an extra bonus. And those are the cheats I wanted to go over, and all those really help. I'll post every single one of these cheats in the description to so that you can use them, and even the website. But you guys have been watching Koganter Rye on YouTube. Have a great day.